The Navajo Nation Board of Education, wat ik lekker naar de Eastern Agency, de Dolly Brigade, jo iba Eastern. Hallo, die heb ik eens niet wat. Well, they believe it is niet wat. I don't think when they were shot, she probably. I don't think we're still central. They 45 still shot. They were 6 a president appointed the BP, 6 of them. So it could be any one of you to be in that position. They that board of ed.
Next here we're going to review with you is finance. And as you can see in your executive summary, the third paragraph down, the study team recommends that the Navajo Nation assume responsibility for the financial and operational capacity of BIE schools through a single grant for its new 66 Navajo district schools, consistent with the direction set forth in Title II, Navajo Sovereignty and Education Act, and Title 10 of the Navajo Nation Code. As I mentioned earlier, the two guiding models that were reviewed in formulating our recommendations for transfer of financial responsibility in a single grant concept for the Hawaii Department of Education and the Department of Defense Education Activity Systems. The reason we felt that those two models were most constructive for Navajo Nation is, again, Hawaii operates as a single school district and a state education agency. However, they also have regional entities. There are two regions on the island of Oahu, the Leeward and the Windward school districts that are serving that regional capacity for all of the schools. And the same is true on the other islands. With the Department of Defense Education Activity, well, they have a central authority in Washington, D.C. That extends to a regional presence in the Pacific Theater, the Pacific schools in Japan, Korea, Okinawa, etc., different islands out in the Pacific, to the European Theater, which is the bases that are within the European countries, and the domestic theater, where schools are operated in the United States. So some of the major recommendations related to finance. And I call your attention to the handout that provides a logic model. A logic model is basically a picture that looks at if a decision is made to go in a certain direction, then what are the implications? So it draws a picture and it draws those connections between when you make that commitment to financial operational capacity. What else needs to be considered to make that successful? So some of the top priorities, and as you review both the logic model on the fiscal issues relating to the funding structure and recommending how the Indian School Equalization Program and Hawaii fiscal models could be blended into a successful system. First priority is that we analyze the Bureau of Indian Education's budget structure and found it to be highly fragmented and prescriptive. BIE's annual budget typically consists of 46 different budget sub-activities. And the BIE receives this funding from Congress through multiple sources. This comes from both the U.S. Office of Education and the Bureau of Affairs, Bureau of Education. You can imagine there's all of these formula-driven money coming in that has to follow a certain set of rules and prescriptions. Our recommendation is to advance single grant policy and authority for application, budget, and regulatory priorities of the 66 Navajo BIE funded schools. We also recommend to clarify and streamline authority as defined between Public Law 100-297, which provides the legal authority for this transfer, and Title 10, Navajo Administration Act, specifically for compliance and accountability purposes to achieve clear oversight authority. That's where there is the potential to have more control over what happens to the considerable funds that come to the VIE-funded schools with this approach. Another top priority for community finance is that in collaboration with stakeholders, with people such as yourself at the local community level, recommendations for amending Public Laws 100-297 such that the nation and the Department of Dine Education have authority to address mismanagement issues, including other accounting and compliance issues, for example, cash deposits at the school level. A fifth recommendation is that in collaboration with stakeholders, amend Public Law 100-472 related to self-governance and Public Law 100-297 for a Navajo district to pair with a single grant model to achieve a self-governance model of education. Not being directed from Washington, D.C., but being a partner with the department and the Navajo Nation government. Number 6 is just something that strikes me personally, in that approximately 99% of the Bureau of Indian Education's funding is formula-based and designated directly to schools. This means that the BIE has no direct access to these funds, leaving the BIE with less than 1% of the total budget for discretionary purposes. It's hard to set priorities with that level of prescription. Set is followed based on number of students, etc. And a couple more recommendations on finance. Number 7, the lack of discretionary allocation authority substantially weakens the Bureau of Indian Education's ability to exercise strategic leadership or achieve educational priorities, and could also impact the nation and Department of Education under the new Navajo District concept. So the priority that comes out of that concern is to review the Indian School Equalization Program and advocate for change. Should attempt to assess the actual cost of running a school instead of using a fixed formula to just send dollars out and have any concern for what schools need, some need more, some not as much. And also develop strategies to distribute all available funds to local schools by comparing them with other local schools that are eligible for funds. Questions? Finance. Or related to the logic model. As Tim indicated, we have the full study posted on the website. If you want to look into more of the detail related to this. While you're thinking about that, I could just kind of guide you through some of the items that are in the logic model on fiscal issues relating to the funding structure. So this begins with a premise. If there is a transfer of BIE schools to Navajo Nation one grant school, then there need to be some of these fiscal policy changes. Position Navajo on the same level as the U.S. Department of Education. That's the vision. That's the goal of the Navajo Nation. Leverage political supports, like the Department of Defense schools, for equal appropriations. The Department of Defense education activities is the most expensive school system in the world. Leverage funds directly from Congress, so you don't go through the different levels and the different parts of the bureaucracy. Obviously, let's success of this will hinge on using curriculum and assessments that are culturally responsive and culturally appropriate to Navajo children. And we'll talk about that later on. So if that transfer occurs, then there is financial accountability. Oh, that's, yes. Yeah, and the issue would be, to receive many of the funding sources, such as what we receive through the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, and various titles there. There needs to be that state level authority so that those funds come directly to the Department of Education. Did I address your question? One district? The district, like, that would be education agency. In some respects, Navajo Nation would be the equivalent of a local school district to receive certain grants and funding opportunities. Other grants that come from the U.S. Department of Education would come to Navajo Nation at a state education agency level of responsibility. And it hinges on using, again, local schools that are successful as models for governance. But again, when you talk about what should the curriculum reflect, you can't have 66 different curricula or programs of instruction. There needs to be one set of educational standards, curriculum, and assessments that determine how well the school system is functioning. So the issue then becomes, once you have a strong plan that has priorities around curriculum, assessment, and instruction, then we have opportunities to budget that plan and those priorities for the school district. Exactly.
So why would you want to recommend states to be involved in the Navajo style assessment?
Navajo should develop its own assessments, and that's what the Navajo Nation